Great, good morning. Good morning, everyone. I'd like to call to order the July 15th meeting of the Broome County Industrial Development Agency Governance Committee. First item on the agenda is a roll call. Natalie, could you do that for us?
Yes, thank you. Chairman Peter Newman,
Here?
James Paduto,
Here.
Michael Stopchak,
Here.
Kevin McManus.
Yep.
Elaine Miller.
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next item is public comment. At this time, the committee will accept public comment on matters appearing on today's agenda. Stress that is a bit of a change. Matters appearing on today's agenda. Anyone wishing to address the committee must first state their name and address for the record. Speakers will be limited to 5 minutes each. Comments should be limited to items appearing on today's agenda. If a speaker's comments stray from the agenda being discussed, I, as chair, may ask the speaker to please return to the topic. If the speaker continues to address matters unrelated to the agenda, I, as chair, may conclude the speaker's allotted time and move to the next speaker. So at this time, I'll ask, is there anyone that would like to speak?
Well. Nice to see you folks.
Good morning.
When was this change voted on the public speaking that you just announced?
Not a voted on item. It's
In
something.
the public comment period, it's not a question and answer.
Thank you.
Well, that question's germane. I mean, the fact of the matter is that this is on the agenda because he just said it. And he is trying to not be held accountable for his past actions. And this is a complete scam. And I might add that there's a first time in history here, we have security here. So you're Peter is unilaterally making policy for this agency. There's been no vote. There's been no resolution put forward. And he's doing that to silence the public. And this shows you the lack of accountability. There is very little difference in this organization than a criminal organization. And that's what we have here. We have misuse of public funds. We have dereliction of duty. We have destruction of records. We can go back to Debbie Preston and we know how to deal with this. And this is governance. This is governance. And this is not good governance. And I mentioned before that you're putting your personal reputations on the line. A lot of times when I speak, people that don't follow it closely don't understand the connection between what I'm talking about and IDA business. But I did mention the governor of Oklahoma, Frank Keating, former FBI agent, and the fact that he pulled out of one of these blue after he was appointed. And he said the Catholic Church, this panel, is no more interested in getting at the truth than the mafia. And what I'm saying to you is that you're betting your personal reputation. Stacy already bet her job and lost, and she should be prosecuted. But your personal reputation in the governance of this agency is paramount, if you value it. And keep in mind that the discharge of public duties is not only what you do, it's what you don't do. And we want to find out if there's an interloop here, a preferred loop of board members that are getting more information than the others. In the case of Cheevers, that's it? 30 seconds? I just heard something.
Got 2 minutes left.
Okay. In the case of, you should have went with my clock. If, in the case of Cheevers versus the town of Union, 1999 court decision, a very famous one as far as open meetings goes. 4 board members were communicating, not in conference, not in various individual phone calls. So what's going on? Who knows what's going on here? The only thing the public has to go on is the records of the meetings. Is there an inner loop? Are you talking to each other? Are you violating Cheevers versus the town of Union? Because I've got an email in 2021 where Stacy says there's a discussion between board members, and that meeting wasn't noticed. That meeting wasn't noticed, and she invited Rich David to the meeting at 10 o'clock. So there was a meeting going on. It wasn't properly noticed. You've got big problems here.
1 more minute.
You've got big problems. And this cutesy pie thing of unilaterally saying, well, we're not gonna talk about this and that, and then have armed security here is absolutely shows you for what you are. And the big thing is, what did the board know and when did they know it? We're right back to Watergate.
Anyone else wishing to speak during the public comment? Okay, we'll end that part of the meeting. Next up on the agenda is the acceptance of the minutes from May 13th. These were sent in advance. I'll ask for a motion to approve the minutes.
Motion.
Thank you. And a second for Mike. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Okay, next item is a review, discussion, recommendation of resolution accepting an application from Clinton Street Owners LLC related to the acquisition, construction, and equipping in 2 phases of a mixed income affordable housing development at 181, 185, 187, and 205 Clinton Street in the city of Binghamton, contemplating financial assistance in connection therewith, and authorizing the agency to conduct a public hearing with respect thereto. Stacy.
Thank you, Chairman. Today, the board has for consideration the acceptance of an application for financial assistance from Vanguard Village. Vanguard Village is a 288 unit, 2-phase affordable housing development sponsored by the NRP Group, the Metro Group Properties, and Ardera Development LLC. The project is located on Clinton Street, which is also the site of a downtown revitalization award community. The project will redevelop a long vacant contaminated 6-acre brownfield site in Binghamton's first ward, enrolled in the New York State DEC Brownfield Cleanup Program, into a vibrant carbon neutral residential community. Phase 1, the Hudson, delivers 178 units serving 50 to 80% of area median income, including 16 supportive housing units for individuals with developmental disabilities in partnership with Springbrook. Phase 2, the Prospect, delivers 110 units serving 30 to 80% of area median income, plus approximately 4,500 square feet of ground floor commercial space. As noted, the development team includes the NRP Group, which is a co-developer, and also plans to self-perform general contractor services, which I will get into shortly. The Metro Group Properties, Ardera Development LLC. From a financial summary, the total project costs are roughly $126 million, again, over 2-phased project, with new construction costs roughly $91 million. The project is seeking financial assistance from the IDA in the form of a real property tax pilot program only. It is not seeking a sales tax exemption or mortgage reporting tax exemption. If you see the organizational charts, the owner is Clinton Street. Clinton Street LLC is the owner and real estate holding company seeking the financial assistance. The Clinton Street Housing Fund, who will operate the facility as a nonprofit and will receive mortgage recording tax as part of their HCR benefits, and also is sales tax exempt. Total benefits provided by the agency should we advance this project. The estimated pilot value is $13,824,547. Pilot payments over 30 years, which runs coterminous with the mortgage per HCR, is $9,657,633. It's worth noting current taxes on the vacant site are roughly only $33,834. Assessment upon completion is roughly $6.3 million. Key public benefits for this project, again, 288 units of affordable housing serving 30 to 80% of area median income, addressing a significant need for housing in our community. 16 supportive housing units for individuals with developmental disabilities with on-site services via Springbrook, remediation of a long vacant brownfield site under active New York State DEC oversight, activation of nearly 6,000 square feet of ground floor commercial and retail space along the Clinton Street corridor, again, a DRI community. All electric carbon neutral design, Energy Star multifamily new construction programs are also participating in that. Advances the city's DRI initiative and first ward brownfield opportunity area goals. Strong market demand with a 4% capture rate, rents discounted roughly 15% below market rate. 4 permanent full-time jobs with payrolls, 3-year payroll of roughly $786,000. Turning to some additional construction, 560 construction jobs will be generated through this project, and with a payroll of roughly $46.5 million. I do want to note in your cost benefit analysis, there is a variance with what was in the application. The project plans to provide 4 permanent full-time jobs, but the way the formula that we use for our cost benefit analysis also includes indirect jobs. So you will see in there that there are an additional sorry, this print is really small, roughly 30 indirect jobs created by the project that were noted in the cost benefit analysis. The next step of this would be for the board to advance the application for inducement for a public hearing, which would be held in the next couple of weeks in the city of Binghamton. I'd be happy to answer any questions. I also want to note we have representatives from the project here virtually. We have Nicholas O'Brien representing the NRP group. We have, I believe, Rob Munchnick with the Metro Group and Miles Monahan with the Metro Group. We also have counsel from Coughlin and Gerhart. We have Keegan Coughlin and Carrie Wenban representing. Before we get into any questions, I do want to note that in your packet, there is a request for a waiver for general contractor services. As noted previously, NRP Group will is a co-developer and owner in the project and plans to self-perform that part of the project, but has been informed and aware of all other local labor policies. With that, I'll turn it over for any questions.
Great. Are there any questions?
Yeah, where exactly on Clinton Street is this? What's it near?
There's 8 parcels that make up the 6 acre, so we've got 181 Clinton Street, 185 Clinton Street, 187, 105, 34 Jarvis, 2 Hudson, 7 Hudson, and 9 slots are in my city.
You don't have a map. I was just looking to see if I missed it. There's not a map in here, is it?
Yes, there is.
Oh, there is.
Yes.
I missed.
About 3/4 of a mile to a mile past the old Union.
Yeah.
Heading towards downtown on the right side of the.
So right before the old Tishner property.
Correct.
Oh, okay.
So within the packet, there's a proposed
Find it.
site plan and tax block consolidation of these tax blocks prepared by Dr.
Are there buildings on any of those lots right now?
Probably just
One small building that's gonna be.
Where is it in relation to?
I'm just curious, it's neither here nor there. I'm just curious why you're not seeking sales and mortgage tax exemptions.
Getting that from HEI.
Yeah, the mortgage tax is exempt through the
Right,
AFH, they were funding,
Oh.
and sales
Trying
tax
to
is
remember
gonna be
that
operated by a
That's
nonprofit.
right there before.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, good.
Those benefits.
Yeah, and just to make sure I didn't miss it, are there any other special populations besides developmentally disabled?
Not this time, Miles or Jonathan, I don't know if you guys wanna chime in, but, it's a small number of Springbrook apartments, and then, the rest is just all affordable through the AMI percentages.
Yeah, okay, and I'm surprised that there aren't more, for such a large project, I'm surprised there's not more than six, I guess that's a lot, 16. And obviously, nothing's gonna stop a developmentally disabled person from renting a regular apartment too. Okay. It's nice that Springbrook is gonna have a person on site. Are they gonna be full-time?
Do that, so they.
Yeah, 4 full-time people, right?
Yeah, and Miles, do you wanna answer that? How many Springbrook will have for on site?
They're planning for 2 counselors.
They'll be there full-time. Full-time?
I would have to confirm with them. They'll certainly be full-time for the project. I don't know if both of them are planning to be full-time on site.
So you've got a superintendent unit here, would have someone in addition to the 4 full-time equivalent jobs and the Springbrook staff to support the individual.
We have other projects that have set asides for developmentally disabled persons.
To do that. Miles or Jonathan, do you guys have other projects currently, outside of our area that have worked for you guys in your other units?
Yes,
You do, okay, so you have experience with it then.
yes,
the
a lot
only-
of experience.
I would only suggest that you encourage Springbrook to have someone there as much as humanly possible. Having dealt, with the same similar situation, they need to be there.
Yeah.
And, yeah, my hesitation is just to not speak for them. There is going to be an office on site that we're building specifically for those counselors inside of the management office, so there is space for them. But would prefer to have Springbrook speak specifically to that.
And just one last question is really more out of curiosity is, with the new laws in New York State having to go all electric. How are you handling that? Is this gonna affect the cash flow if you had electric versus gas? Because I know you have some highly efficient systems you're planning, but, I'm just wondering how that's gonna work out and what your plan is to make that work.
So I'll just say every building that I've been designing and developing the last 5 years has been all electric. And that's projects that are in design, in construction, and completed. Electric rates are, depending on the area, sometimes higher than gas, but the overall building is going to operate with much less consumption. So we're going to see pretty efficient energy use in the building, and we've been underwriting and developing these kinds of buildings for a few years now. And it's pretty much a requirement for working with HCR and HFA to meet their sustainability requirements.
Do you have other projects in New York State?
Yes.
Okay.
Along with what Elaine said, I saw you're using heat pumps as primary utilities, both heating and cooling. Heat pumps.
That's right. That's right.
Had you looked into electric thermal storage unit?
An electric thermal storage unit, I would have to see the spec and kind of understand that a little bit better. I'm not familiar with the terminology.
Okay, electric thermal storage unit looks like a radiator. It has bricks on the inside with an electric coil going. It goes on automatically at 11 o'clock at night, heats up the bricks, goes off at 7 o'clock in the morning. And with the heat stored in the bricks, it heats the house. Now, it heats the house during the day with night rate electricity when that's more efficient use of electricity because you're off the grid, over its maximum usage time. You haven't looked into that.
It's very interesting technology. We'll definitely look into that. I will say the phase one buildings are well into design at this point. They're filed, at least the 120 unit structure has been filed with the buildings department. So that heating and cooling system is very well advanced and engineered. But certainly for the phase two buildings, we can discuss with our design team and talk about that. That's interesting technology.
Great, thanks, Mike and Elaine. Are there any other questions or comments?
Yeah, on the
ETS.
waivers for the GC, expand more on that. Are they gonna self-perform construction management services or general contractor? We're kind of mentioning.
There is, no, it's a great question. There is a letter in the packet. There's a letter. Request, but I have the team on, so I'll let them.
Jonathan is on from NRC.
Sure. Hi, Jonathan here. Thank you for having us and allowing us to join virtually so we could all participate together. So NRP is we're a construction manager. So it's our staff, sort of on payroll staff, if you will, is limited to project management down to the superintendent, field engineer, project oversight. And then we locally, bid out to subcontractors. So we're not bringing in labor or trades from out of state or anything like that. We are, we may have project managers who will work on other projects for us around the region and come locally. But then we bid out projects to subcontractors that service, the greater Binghamton area. So that's what you can expect from us. And we have, successfully built in, sort of as far sort of southeast in the state as Westchester County, up to the Albany, capital region, Saratoga, and heading, and westward as far as we're working on something in Amsterdam. So it would be our first project in Binghamton. We look forward and have already started introducing ourselves to some of the sub base, but we're a construction manager. So all the work is being bid out, to those who could best do it at the, service the Binghamton area.
Well, if they're gonna waiver, why don't we just use that as their 20% they're allowed and then go from there and see how they do on who they hire for subcontractors.
What kind of enforcement would you have on? Enforcement, I mean,
Enforcement as far as,
how much of the local workforce they're using? Percentage wise, who's checking on that?
There's a goal of 80% local, so they would have,
Who checks on that?
they would submit the forms in the application. They have to submit the
I get
local
those,
labor
yeah.
utilization forms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they, in the back of their application, there's a local labor and a non-local labor utilization form they would have to complete. And they also have to provide notice to they have 6 specific
Okay, somebody
entities.
local
Yeah,
checking on
yeah,
it.
absolutely.
And in transparency, when we submitted the application, we wanted to be forthright with the board and the agency regarding NRP's plan. We're always a general contractor, so we were not waiting till later in the process with our labor reporting guidelines to make you aware of that plan.
That's a good idea you have, because I was wondering how you were gonna monitor that, right? I mean, so that we still have authority to approve or not approve the waivers, right?
Correct.
That's important to me. But if that used up to 20%, then it's easy to monitor, right, Dan?
right, then you see how they do on their subs, and if they're not available, if they do the proper
Because you don't want.
solicitation for bids, and people aren't available, then we allow the waivers.
Correct.
And then at the same time, they have to abide by NWBE requirements.
Yeah, I don't know if there's any on that, or,
No, you do.
With any
There's
state
state money
funding, there's
involved, yeah.
typically
Yeah.
MWBE goals that they have.
Which is an administrative nightmare.
But we don't enforce MWBE goals.
Right.
That's connected to their state funding. Yeah.
I've gone over with the development team, the agency's local labor policy along with the reporting forms as we've helped with in prior projects, so they are aware of it and committed to doing that and making sure they have a representative and touching in constant basis with Natalie to report on that information, and if we run into trouble on a particular subcontract specialty, which for some reason we're not able to do, then we will contact the agency on that for the local labor on the subs.
I have.
Yeah, not sure if you were looking for feedback from the applicant on that, but I think we feel really good about our track record of hitting local hiring requirements. Obviously, it can complicate. I'd say we wouldn't want to. It is a complicated endeavor. It's always a high goal, especially 80%. And so to not have to be working against ourselves of just staffing our own team and tracking who might be working on a project when it's fully internal seems like maybe it just adds to that complication a little, perhaps unnecessarily, but obviously we will act at the board's direction. I don't know that we track our internal staff. People come in, executives, project management staff, necessarily tracking it the same way you would track somebody who's sort of working directly on a job site. And I think our goal with this request was not to get tripped up, to be able to very clearly track and report our labor usage versus a project manager or somebody like that who's split between different projects and how they get allocated. I think that was just the request for the NRP waiver, is just to clarify that our own project management, job management staff are not part of that calculation.
I have one additional question. With regard to the old Vale Below site, being that that's a closed brownfield, a cleaned brownfield, did they leave any institutional controls for that property? Environmental controls? Such as maybe you can't put apartments on the ground floor or something like that? Is there anything? any
Which
kind of
property are
So
you
we're-
referring to? I'm sorry.
Old Vale Below? Isn't that one of them?
Oh, so we're you're talking about the Clinton Street properties.
Yeah.
There will be there. So we're part of the New York State brownfield cleanup program. We'll be remediating the site according to those standards.
I thought it was removed. I thought it said it was cleaned up.
No, there
No,
weren't.
that's part of the project. Yep.
Oh, okay, all right.
It's fuel oil and the heavy oil, so it's.
Okay,
you're not
so-
donating arsenic, just
so-
trash.
In the project financing, I'm sorry, I read it a little fast, but is there, are there development funds in there from the brownfield cleanup program?
There's going to be brownfield tax credits.
Yeah,
The brownfield tax.
the refundable tax credits, yeah.
Program.
Yeah, okay, all right. Oh, that's good. What's the cost of the cleanup?
Yeah, Jonathan, you have that?
It's several $1,000,000. It gets a little, the program mixes in some of the, as you mentioned, the controls, which include part of the foundations in the building. So it a little bit gets apples and oranges, but it's upwards of $5 million of soil removals and replacement to deal with the contamination.
Yeah, I'm assuming you're gonna have, hopefully this is all it is, but some institutional environmental controls, such as maybe no apartments on the ground floor. Do you
Yeah,
have-
so I think we are allowed to have apartments on the ground floor because we're cleaning it up to such a level that any impacted soils won't be there at the end. So we're doing a very comprehensive cleanup. And then for the rest of the site, like parking areas, et cetera, we'll have an easement, a permanent environmental easement. So for anybody who would try to do something on the property, like you're not allowed to do that. And then, as appropriate, the orange mesh and the different warnings to not dig, et cetera, and especially in landscape areas. So yeah, we definitely will have institutional controls, including removing the impacted soils, and then putting down building foundations and barriers between the foundations and the soils, which allow for apartments on the ground floor.
All right,
The environmental engineers work with DC with a remedial action work plan to meet the requirements for that cleanup. So
you already have the remedial plan in place and DEC has signed off on it?
the remedial action work plan, DC.
So we-
Working on.
Oh, right now.
The DEC
Final approval.
Just
The D-
submitted, actually.
Yeah.
so
Yeah,
we're
we
in the
just submitted a
program.
remedial action plan.
Yeah,
and
we're in
they're
the
gonna provide
program. We did
oversight.
the
That's-
Did I read it correctly? Weren't those spill numbers open and closed already?
That's what I thought. That's what
Yeah,
I-
that's what it is.
Yeah.
so spills can be closed, but contaminated soils and conditions still remain.
Yeah, but if they close the spill, I mean, it can't be that big of an issue. They're not gonna close the spill until they feel comfortable. Right? I know the build on might be different, but
Well, they've got to remove a certain feet of soil, I think.
yeah, right, I get
Yeah,
that,
that's
but it
what I
can't be that, intrusive if they close the spill is my point.
I think the nuance is because we're converting it to it's closed, it's sort of at a standard for industrial use that's allowed, but because we're taking it to a residential use, we're fully remediating it. So a little bit of apples and oranges, but you all clearly are very well versed in these issues. Definitely more than me.
It's hard to get it to the residential level. But I guess they're always coming out with new materials, so I don't know what you're planning to cover it with, what the barrier is gonna be between the soil and the building. But is this some kind of new technology or?
It's a impermeable barrier, like a plastic or a rubber, but a big part of our path here is removal of soils and taking them out of the city to appropriate landfill and bringing in non-impacted, clean soils. That's a big part of the effort.
They're probably gonna have a testing well somewhere, I assume. And, you'll probably have to do air quality testing for forever.
You know, like I said, the environmental easement gets filed, that's in the county record,
Yeah.
you know, as other projects have ahead in the area.
Are there further questions or comments? I know we had a discussion about the waiver. Can we kick that piece of it to the full board? So we're doing, let's approve this if you're okay, because I know there's more full board non-governance members that all have an opinion. Can we approve this motion as presented? That's what I would propose for recommendation to the full board.
I'll move it.
Thank you.
Second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Anyone opposed? Okay, thank you. Okay, next item is review, discussion, recommendation of resolution extending from July 15, 2026 to July 15, 2027, the period during which Biomar Inc. is authorized to claim sales and use tax exemption benefits and authorizing the execution and delivery and or filing of related forms and documents in connection therewith. Stacy.
Okay, so staying in the first ward, Biomar is a company which we've provided a sales tax exemption benefit to. Biomar is a clean tech, clean tech company located in the Charles Street Business Park. They are retrofitting a former cogen facility for their business. They're simply seeking today just an extension of the time of that benefit, which is necessary to support the ongoing build out and launch of their new manufacturing facility. They've made substantial progress, but feel additional time is required to complete equipment purchases, facility improvements, and other project related investments that are essential to the operations. And this continued amount of time would be greatly beneficial to the project.
Any questions or discussion? If not, I'll ask for a motion to approve. Mike, second.
Second.
Elaine, thank you. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Thank you. Next, we have the review, discussion, recommendation, a resolution authorizing an increase in the amount of sales and use tax exemption benefits granted by the agency to SparkJC LLC from $3,093,333 to $3,668,384.36, extending to August 18, 2027, the period during which SparkJC LLC is authorized to claim such sales and use tax exemption benefits, authorizing the execution and delivery and or filing of related forms and documents in connection therewith. Stacy.
Okay, so SparkJC is seeking both an extension of time and also an increase in exemption related to ongoing efforts to develop the Oakdale Commons. The total amount of increase is $575,000. Oh gosh, I'm sorry, $51. Even with my glasses, that's small print. And an increase of an additional year to complete that effort. The project costs are related to additional work at the Commons, including the completion of Marshall's, the Guthrie expansion and daycare, the Broome County daycare and playground, and retail relocation of tenants. Questions?
Project certainly continues to move forward. Any questions or comments? If not, I'll ask for a motion to approve.
Motion.
Thank you, Elaine. Second by Mike. It's a little too slow, Cal.
Working on, right, they can't do two things at the same time.
All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Thank you. Next, review, discussion, recommendation of a resolution appointing Gabrielle Dean as the agency's FOIL officer and Natalie Abadessa as the agency's FOIL appeals officer. Stacy.
Okay, so this is just an administrative action that it would be making Gabrielle Dean, our executive assistant, as our FOIL officer, and Natalie is currently in that role, and making Natalie Abadessa our appeals officer. This pretty simple action. Any questions?
Good. Division of labor sounds like a good idea. If there's no questions, I'll ask for a motion. Kevin.
There you go.
Thank you. In a second. Mike, thank you. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Thanks. Okay, next item, review, discussion, recommendation of a resolution approving an amendment to the bylaws of the Broome County Industrial Development Agency in the form attached to the resolution. Stacy.
Okay, so after some discussion with council, we're recommending an adjustment, a modification to our bylaws. They're on page 9 in your copy of the bylaws related to governance and operations committee. It is the 4th paragraph noting that responsibilities of the governance committee, we're recommending remove. It shall review and make recommendations to the board on all major applications for financial assistance that don't involve bonding. This was actually pointed out to us during our review by the ABO that this was we were somewhat an anomaly, that most IDAs did not do this through their governance committee. And the concern was that it would potentially serve as a restriction on full board discourse at the regular board meeting. So we have taken all necessary steps as far as notice to the board. Jim provided that, and we provided that per our bylaws to the county executive and the chairman of the legislature. So simply put, this movement will just make all deliberation on projects seeking financial assistance move directly to the full board and allow for full board discourse. Any questions?
Makes good sense. Good recommendation. Any discussion or questions? I'll ask for a motion to approve this.
Go ahead.
Jim, thank you. Elaine, second. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Thank you. Okay, we're at the point for adjournment. I'll ask for a motion to adjourn.
Adjourn. Old business now, because it stemmed from the comments.
Yes, sir. Old business.
If it'd be okay, Peter, I know we're running late on this. Can council just comment briefly on the requirement, not requirement in terms of a public comment on our agenda?
I think it'd be great to put that on the record. Thank you.
Yes, this agency is unique in the sense that it has a public comment period before its board meeting and its committee meetings. There is no statutory requirement that you have a public comment period. So you are voluntarily giving the public the chance to speak and let you know their thoughts on anything before the agenda. That is being transparent, that's being accountable, and that's giving more access than any other IDA in this state. So I think, yeah, you guys are to be commended for doing that.
Thank you.
That's all, Peter.
Very good. Okay. Now I'll ask for a motion to adjourn.
Okay.
Second, thank you. All in favor? Aye.